And welcome back to Let's Talk About It. This is the podcast where I sit down with a guest, usually a friend, and we just have a conversation. Today I am joined by a fellow Lonely Mark, a fellow comedian, a fellow wrestling fan, a fellow movie lover, and a friend. Richie Goodacre. Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, no, going good, going good. Yeah, it's good to just have a general chat, getting to know each other. That's I think that not enough people do this. So yeah, no, it'd be cool, it'd be good. I'm excited. I'm happy to kind of come on and yeah, just kind of shoot the shit as it were.
Yeah, I figured if we're gonna have conversations, why not record them and let other people chime in?
Yeah,
Oh no, we're not sponsored by a monster, not yet.
not
Um,
yet. Yeah,
no, I doubt
yeah.
that's gonna happen. Um, it'd be cool. Then I wouldn't have to pay for it. Um,
Do you have mother over there? Is it just monster? Is
what?
Is it like because do you have like the drink mother, or is that just is it an Australian thing?
I've never heard of that. So
Okay, there's a we've got monster, but there's also a thing called mother, which is not which is also like just as unhealthy. And then we got like rockstar as well. But yeah, obviously,
well, some mothers are monsters, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah. Whoever it is talking about, I don't know.
I not my mother. My mother was not a monster. Um,
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, my mum's not. And even though she won't listen to this, she's in Canada at the moment. She's closer to you than she is me. Uh,
I'm just saying. We've watched movies. We've watched TV. There's some terrible mothers out there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
yeah. Now,
but there's always good ones. So up to good mothers.
I've been doing this with every guest so far. Kind of how we met, and I'm sorry to say I'm not sure if it was movie trivia or wrestling trivia, but I do know that it was trivia, online trivia. I just can't remember if we met in wrestling or movie. I want to say wrestling.
Yeah,
Um, I,
I think it was more wrestling. I don't know specifics, but it was in the trivia space. Let's just say that. And then
yeah, back when JPO
yeah,
was still
kind of
using Zoom.
yeah. The old Zoom days, which yeah, no offense to StreamYard's good, but yeah, Zoom has its Zoom has its place in the
Yeah,
world. Uh, I didn't actually
we
think
utilized
it
it
would
a
take
lot
off.
during COVID.
Didn't think it would take off as much. I thought maybe Skype would be the hero. No, Skype went. No, screw Skype. They were like, no, yeah, Zoom's here to stay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know people that are
So
still using
yeah,
Zoom.
no, I think it was during yeah yeah
Yeah,
um yeah. So yeah 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 during I think it's just doing trivia and then yeah I think you yeah, I think obviously yeah like obviously similar interests and then I think yeah you started doing a podcast about movies and what was known as podcast about wrestling and I'm like and then you're like hey do you want to be a guest and then it just became became a guest it was a guest spot that never left. I
yeah.
was
You were a
I
guest. Pez was a guest, and then I was like, I think we joked around that we were, well, we're just Marks. We're the only Marks, and I was like, that's actually a great name for a podcast. And then the two of you just never left. And here we are. It's been like 2 or 3 years now, and it's still going. So it's
yeah
good, good. So
yeah so it's been going good. Yeah.
yeah. So what got you into wrestling?
Ah, Actually, I think, funny enough, I think it was like like I had like I had a friend in primary school, and I still talking in New Zealand named Matthew, who was like a huge fan and like would talk to me about it. I didn't know much about it, but I think, but I started. My dad owned a like I've talked about it on a few streams. My dad owned a video store, and like and he obviously had games and stuff as well. And I started playing SmackDown on PlayStation One. I really enjoyed that. I was like really enjoyed that game. I'm like, oh, maybe I should, you know, start like watching wrestling because it was like I mean I was into like kind of things that kind of like adjacent to that, like like kind of your Power Rangers,
Hmm.
your your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I was like, "Ah, yeah, I might
Yes.
might get into that, and then like I saw all these like characters and like these is all this like sort of just wild showcase of stuff and like The Rock, Austin, and everybody, Undertaker. I'm like, what is this? And then I became hooked, and I would like every sort of every time I had a spare weekend, I'd go down to the video store and get a whole bunch of videotapes and just watch them and yeah, and like and like we had a or cable what we'd call Sky when I was living in New Zealand and yeah, I'd eventually watch Raw and SmackDown. And annoyingly, Raw and SmackDown at the time, they're up to date now, but at the time they were like a month behind. So I was like, I had to, it was weird seeing what was happening in real time and then what I could actually watch. And then, yeah, eventually, it wasn't right away, but eventually, like mum and dad were like, okay, you can order a pay per view. Okay,
Do
cool.
you
Uh, and
remember what
so
that first
yeah,
one was?
and I think it could have been. It might have been like Royal Rumble 2001, which is a good one to have
So
because that's
that's a good first show. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which is like that's still like one of my favorite like shows all the time, and not just because it like oh it's a special place, but yeah, just because up and down the card it was really good. But yeah, so I think that was just that one. I think it could convince them it was like it was a big one. And, yeah, it's like oh okay. I think I just wore them down, and after that, like screw it, yeah, and yeah. So every month from then, I would get paid for you, and I think since then, I don't. I think I've rarely missed a show since since then, and on pay per view at least. So yeah, and like uh, like probably I would, I sort of obviously as a wrestling critic, you have your qualms about stuff, and maybe I'm a bigger fan now than I was maybe in like the 2010s, but it's not like it's definitely like a fandom within me that's never gonna go fully away or anything like that. So I just think it's always gonna stick with me.
Mhm. So when you first started watching, who was that wrestler that you like? All right, that's my guy. I like his look. I like his moves. Whatever it was, like who's the one that stuck out to you?
Um, I was I mean I was kind of struck by like the Rock's charisma and things like that, and just like how kind of funny he was on the microphone and things like that. So he stood out, but also Chris Jericho when he was coming into his own um, and when he came back to WWE at the time because like it didn't I didn't have as much access to WCW that we did get WCW like a little bit and not as much so I watched WCW a bit later when the network came out but yeah but Jericho within time I
Hmm.
became really entertained by him obviously Austin uh, and yeah there was a time where I really got into uh, American Badass Undertaker as well. And yeah, I and weirdly enough, like just because it's not someone that gets talked about much in terms in this sort of conversation, but like one that stood out to me was Raven. I love Raven. I watch
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, well, I,
uh,
I think that's
I would get like, because obviously ECW wasn't like televised here necessarily, or if it was really like early in the morning like it was in the States. But like I could still rent out the videotapes and stuff. And yeah, he's one that stood out to me. And then I went back later. I'm like, oh, that's Johnny Polo. He's very different. Yeah, so yeah, those ones come to mind. I'm probably in terms of women too, probably the leader, because I was like, oh, that's probably
Yeah.
when it's going through puberty. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I like women.
Wow, she's mom, I can see her underwear. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever like been? There's always that kind of thing where you're like, people. If you're around like family member or even friends who aren't like wrestling fans, and then they have it. You try to convince them that it's good, but then they always come into the room at a really kind of cringy segment. You're like, no, you think you came at the wrong time. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. But the rest of the show, yeah, and it was hard to convince like mum or whoever, or family members, whoever, like the wrestling is good whenever they would come in and like they you know Eric Bischoff was doing those HLA segments, or also, or like your bra and panties matches where obviously I was getting into that age where I'm like, yeah, this is fine, but but a parent watching this, yeah, I could imagine they're going, what are you watching? But yeah,
right. Yeah. As a as a 13, 14, 15-year old, my favorite part of WrestleMania 19, obviously, was the pillow fight.
yeah,
Now, as a mature adult, I'm like, I don't think that needed to be on the card.
yeah,
That takes a spot from a wrestler who deserved it.
yeah, and
Thankfully,
like
we don't get segments like that anymore.
no, yeah, but yeah, it's come a long way. So yeah, that's pretty much my kind of foray into wrestling fandom.
Yeah, and so obviously that, yeah. Well, excuse me. That's led into some trivia because, like we said, that's how we met. So how did you get like find out about the wrestling trivia? Because I think it was JPO's league, yeah, wrestling with trivia.
Yeah,
Um,
probably as a byproduct through like I'd say I get found out through like movie trivia through like I remember like most other people did like through like Schmodown and all that, and then I
yeah,
was like they would always call it the fantasy leagues or whatever, and so I was like, oh, I need to I think because I think Schmodown I think as much I do respect Shimoda, but I think it gave like it kind of gave me a sense of like, oh man, I'm crushing it when I'm like playing along when I'm watching, so I'll play along, and then yeah, not so much. Questions a lot harder, and then I was like, I was thinking, I'm like, it would I wish there was like a wrestling trivia. I could crush that, and then like I think for the for I think I met I met JP3 through like some movie thing he did to, first, and he was plugging his wrestling league, and then sort of asked to join. So and I was and yeah, so and I did a couple of things there, and then through that I got connected with uh, Dustin Leon Wheels, who was helping JPO at the time doing running some stuff, and then that's when I got connected to JPO, and then I just started playing, and yeah, like there was a time where I was like on this like win streak as well. Like I think in my fifth match I beat Steve Mesa, so I was like, holy shit. Uh, uh, so yeah, and then I just sort of started playing. Yeah, it became like a sort of regular fixture in my life, just doing wrestling trivia and yeah, kind of shooting the shit. So yeah, it was cool. It's always good when you kind of are able to find your people, I guess.
yeah, it's interesting. Like I want to say I started doing the wrestling trivia. I want to say it was either 2019 or early 2020, like right before the world shut down. But it's interesting, like just how many people I've met. I'm sure you can speak on it too. Just how many people I've met and have become friends with and actually spend a decent amount of time with. I mean, like you, me, and the two of us, and JPO and Pez.
Mhm.
We've started a podcast. We've done it for the last 3 years. We've on various other shows.
Yeah,
You and Pez
Wheel of
have a
Movies.
what, bi-weekly
Yeah,
every
bi-weekly.
other week podcast. We've been on several countdowns with JPO and doing trivia on his channel, and then not to mention all the other people
And
on various other channels. So it's been really cool.
and the watch-alongs, we those like stuff on this weekend.
Right.
The
We'll hang out again.
yeah. So yeah, so no, it is cool to kind of find this little like hub, little community. So no, it's been it's been kind of it's been great. So yeah, kind of yeah, chilling with you guys and yeah, finding connections through there, and yeah, like you said, like with this, think the positive thing through like COVID, you communicate with people that you never and become friends with people you wouldn't, I didn't think probably otherwise sort of meet. Like it's weird, like even us doing Bobby Love horror trivia thing. It was like me, Shannon Briggs, and Kaiser. So it's like me, who's from Australia, Shannon, America, and then Kaiser's in Singapore. So it's like three different time zones, and it's just
Yeah.
all coming together. And it's like, oh, this is the wonder of technology and everything. Yeah. So it's just kind of cool. It's kind of crazy how that works, but yeah, it's really cool though.
Yeah, it's been really cool finding people who share all these common interests, especially if you like the three big ones. um, for me personally, and you, I think as well, are wrestling, which we've talked about, movies, which is another thing that we share a love for, and comedy.
Yeah,
We're both stand up comedians.
yeah.
How did you get started in that? Like
Uh,
how long has it been?
I started end of 2012, so it's been a while.
Oh wow, okay.
Um, and I kind of, I could have kind of just gone like, looked up and open mind and just gone straight into it, but I'm like, I kind of wanted to get I kind of wanted to get a feel for it, so I wanted to see if there's like any sort of such thing as like a comedy course or something, you know what I mean? So I Googled, and there's this guy uh, named Robert Grayson. He's an American dude, and I noticed that he did. There's some other comedians around the scene and down his course. So I was like, oh yeah, I saved up the money and did his course, and then they had like a graduation gig at the end of it, and then um, and yeah, that went quite well, and then that built enough confidence within myself to just contact the main club over here. It's called the Sit Down Comedy Club, and I contacted them, and then got put in their books, and then I'm in sort of regular rotation now, and and then I was got connected with other comedians to run our rooms, and then so now I'm sort of just part of the community, and I got so it was like now I just become a fixture. So I've been doing that pretty consistently since then. So it was it's been a pretty it's been a big journey. Obviously, like if sometimes it's like when you have high highs, it's like this is the best, and then you can have like the shit gigs. You're like, oh, I
Oh,
don't know what I'm doing this for, and but
I'm taking a week off.
it is what it is. But but it's like I don't know if I can. I can never like walk. I can never go and like give up because I start like I said, I'm like this. I'm not good at anything else. I'm good at this. I'm really good. I'm like when I hit, I hit. So
Right.
I could keep going, and so it's you know taking it's giving me opportunities that I never thought I would have. Like there's like I talk about it a few times. There's the Daily Show's Ronnie Chang, who opened for him. I know him. And there's people like that. I mean, I've met Adam Ray. We did a gig in the we did a gig in Brisbane in outside in the rain. Yeah, that could have been disastrous on a microphone, but
Right.
so that was. So I've met people that and gig with people that I've seen on like TV and never thought that was even possible. So it's been probably one of the best decisions I've kind of made all up. So yeah.
Yeah. What was that first performance like? What were you? Do you remember what you were thinking going into it? Like, oh my gosh, what if this goes extremely horrible? Or were you
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna kill it.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I was
funny. I
nervous.
know what I'm doing.
No, I was really nervous. I could tell I knew it wasn't gonna simulate a like proper like kind of bare bones throw into the fire gig, because it's like it's a great version gig. All your friends and family are there, they're gonna support you and
Right.
whatever. But it was, that didn't take away the fact that I was like extremely nervous. I literally think I went pee like 12 times. So it's like yeah, and then they had me on last as well, so I was closing the
Oh,
thing.
jeez.
And I'm just like, all right. And then that I had to got lifted on stage. There's still like a video of it. Yeah, I should probably show you. It's like the one that they've only put a couple of things on YouTube, and that's like one of them that's stood there. I personally can't like it's if you like you know if you watch your like clips of your comedy from then, and then you compare it to now, it's like, oh man, I'm so much better now. But
Yeah.
but like it's hard, so it's hard to watch. But like I did quite well. There, yeah, and but like I was yeah, because I was a bundle of nerves. I'm like, oh, this could I could fall flat on my face here, but no, it was great, and yeah did quite well. So I was like, oh cool, that'll yeah, I
I
knew
mean,
sort of what I
13
wanted
years
to.
later, here you are, still doing it.
Yeah,
So.
I knew what I wanted to kind of do from then on. But yeah, I know. But I was definitely like I have a lot of anxiety as it is. But yeah, when I have like that pressure, I'm like, oh my god, I'm just yeah. I think I was like, look, yeah, even people are trying to talk to me. I'm like, look, I mean, I gotta get my zone. Don't, I just, yep. I can talk to you afterwards, just not now. So yeah, but no, I'm glad I paid off.
Yeah. Now, for people who don't know, and I hope I'm not stepping over a line, but they can see it in the background there.
Yeah.
There is a wheelchair. Has that presented any just for you as far as comedy goes?
Uh, yeah. But luckily, like a lot of people are sort of pretty accommodating. I'll just sort of I've got like cerebral palsy, which is like basically uh, that's sort of way I describe it is like uh, yeah, like when you're like so it's like brain injury from birth, where your brain doesn't send messages for the legs to work. So it's just like it's all it's almost like my brain just got like on permanent bad reception, and it's like just can't like doesn't send the message. I don't know. My brain's in like a tunnel or something, and just a dead area, and it doesn't send the right messages for the legs and my legs to work. So therefore, I'm like in a wheelchair. But and in terms of like comedy, yeah, like it can be challenging because like not everything is like accessible, but it sort of like comedy rooms come and go, like so sometimes sometimes there's more accessible rooms, and other times uh, sort of like right now I would say that there's like it's hard because there's like just the rooms are available aren't that there's not much accessibility, but like there'll be rooms people will start rooms all the time, which kind of and I think people are kind of more onto it now, where there are more venues out there that do cater to obviously people with disabilities,
Mhm.
but like it's just like it's also a thing where like I think like that that the there's some venues where they can't like alter things because it's like what they call like it's called heritage listed, so they can't like they got to keep basically got to keep it as is because that's how it was built. I kind of the way I describe it is like, oh, we can't we can't we can't we can't make it accessible because it will offend ghosts. Because it's because you got to keep it you got to keep the heritage because it will offend the people who are now dead. you know,
You don't want to offend the dead people.
yeah. So, but yeah, like it. I mean, it's challenging, but like I make the most of it. Like even if there's once with the stairs, I'll just like like, oh, you need help? I got this, and I'll just I'll get out of the chair and just like go like go down on my go down the stairs on my ass, and then or either when it comes to the stage, go in the front of the stage, or if it's like a little bump, and I'll get up there. I've had people like lifting up the stage before, but sometimes that can be a bit nervy. There used to be like a room called here called the Hey Ya Bar. It was one of the best rooms you could do, and there's they would often due to the layout of the room, I couldn't go to the front stage. I'd have to be on stage, and then I'd get like four or five people to lift me up, and I don't know what it's like in over there, but comedians just generally aren't known for that be like the be physically kind of fit, and so it's like I was like usually it was fine, but sometimes I was like. Like Kate, who ran the room, my friend Kate, was like, "Oh, I'll just get someone to help you." And I remember one time out came my friend Michelle. Michelle's great, but like she's very, very tiny little, and I didn't want to I don't want to be like sexist, but like I don't know what we can. I'm heavy. I don't know what we can do. I don't want to be like I don't want to be insulting, but and she did it to her credit, but there were times where I'm like, "Look, this could go terribly." Yeah, like there was one time where like it was like the MC caught me the last second. I'm like, and I was like to the audience, I'm like, just let me get my bearings for a second, and I'm just like, all right, now I'm right now, yeah. And then but I'd make a joke about it too. I'd be like, I actually have a clause in my contract where I only perform at gigs where I'm definitely fucked because there's a fire. So. Uh, yeah, but yeah, so it's been it's an interesting journey, but I think I guess the moral, the kind of overarching kind of theme is that I make it work. So, yeah.
Now, I know for me, like I'm a bigger guy, so a lot of my, I've only been doing comedy for about a year and a half now. But how's my connection, by the way? I keep getting the symbol. Am I still coming through okay?
You're coming all right. Yeah. Like it's a bit the times where it's like you're not cutting out, but it's like your picture can be kind of spotty sometimes, but it's not.
Okay, well, as long as the audio is still good. Picture not as important. But like okay, back to what I was saying though. Okay, so like I've been doing comedy for a year and a half, and I know for me, like it was really easy just to write a lot of jokes, commenting on my weight, and it's something that I'm trying to like steer away from, and trying to like, get more, more material, a wider range of topics. Was what was it like? Was it really easy for you to like I'm going to address this? Obviously people are going to notice it. Was it I'm gonna
Yeah.
was this a main focus of your comedy, or were you just like right out the gate like I'm gonna talk about drugs or
No,
whatever? Like I don't know why I said drugs. It was the first
no.
thing that came to my mind.
No, I think like initially, like I talk about predominantly disability a lot, and then like obviously I don't want to be sort of I kind of want that there's sort of this idea of wanting to like prove that like even if I wasn't in a wheelchair, I'd still be doing comedy, so I wanted to kind of branch out from there, and yeah, and do other. So I do, while I do still talk about it because part of my life, I do talk about other topics, but yeah, well, when I go on stage, obviously you could tell that there's a bit of like an interesting vibe in the room because of the chair. So I have to mention it, but like now, like what I've done for a few years now, and it just works. Uh, there was a, there was a gig like years ago that me and my friend were running, and I wasn't on. I was just I was just chilling, and he tried to convince me to like put myself on, and I wasn't. There was a night that wasn't going well, and I wasn't in a great mood, and so. But I was like, oh, whatever. I went on, and I just grabbed the mic and I'm like, "Sup, bitches," and I got a laugh. I got a laugh. And so I'm like, so every now every time that's like just my opening thing, I just go, "Sup, bitches," and it works, and it just eases that tension. Like, yeah, we know, I know I'm in a wheelchair, but you get don't focus on that, "Sup, bitches," and then it just kind of you just feel like people's like like buttholes unclench. So
Right.
yeah, so yeah, I'm yeah, I'm trying to be like I do sort of yeah, like obviously yeah, I do talk about disability a lot just because it's like yeah, a big part of my life, but I do it more like I have branched out to more varied amount of topics, like drugs.
Yeah, I mean, and then, yeah, no, you mentioned that, sub. Yeah, I think that's good. Like, you gotta. I think it's important for comedians to have something that like breaks the tension or whatever, or just something that can turn the crowd as well. Like the open mic I help run and perform at. There's a guy that will perform, and the crowd's always different, right? You never know what type of crowd you're gonna get at an open mic. Because some people might not even know they're at an open mic comedy show, um, depending on the business it's running. Um, and so this guy, I love it because if he senses that his set is going bad, he'll just turn. So I've been watching a lot of gay porn recently, and it just instantly, turns the crowd. It gets the laugh. People are back in like, oh, I want to know about this now. So I think it's good that for comedians to have that thing that they can turn to. They can have that crutch, and it's like, all right, well, if it's going bad, then or if it's weird, I can turn to something.
Yeah, I can turn this around. Yeah, I know it's always good to have that in like your pocket, and yeah, it's good to acknowledge that is a kind of a tactic you can use because yeah, like maybe a less skilled comic would know that like that how to execute it and how when to and why it's important. So yeah, it's good that he notices that like yeah what he notes that could kind of turn it around. So yeah, no, that's sort of my thinking as well. Is like yeah, I think it's just good to have those things where it's like okay, we release attention, yeah, and put the focus on me, and I'm gonna make you listen. I'm gonna make you listen to me. So yeah.
Yeah. So so how often do you find yourself writing jokes? Like, are you
I
like,
sort of
if you think of something, are you gonna write it down and then like maybe you'll work on two or
yeah
three for a while and work them
yeah
out, add some punchlines or whatever? Or are you just like constantly writing? Like, what's
it's
your
really like
joke writing process like?
yeah, essentially everyone's sort of process different. There's people who like will like hour a day or whatever. I'm more of like just because I swear I've got like undiagnosed ADHD. I can't like just sit at it's cool like doing a podcast. I'm just sitting there talking about what I like, but like it's but if I'm like typing for an hour, it's like yeah, can't do that. So what I do is I just yeah, like if something kind of pops in my head, I'll just jot it down on my like notes app on my phone or something, and then I'll come back to it. I I've made the mistake of being like, oh yeah, like or because a lot of the time I'll come up with something funny right before I go to sleep. I'm like, oh, I'll remember it in the morning, and I wake up and I'm like, I don't know what
Nope.
the fuck.
I
No,
don't remember it all. I've been there.
don't remember what the fuck I was talking about. So yeah, so at least like like even if like if I just put like a vague idea what it was, and in the morning can be like I connect the dots a bit better as opposed to this having to fully remember exactly what I was getting, like what it is I was talking about. So yeah, I'll write stuff in the notes and then sort of maybe like and then maybe write a note to expand on it, and then maybe and then just trial and error it on stage, sort of expanding on it, and then go and then work up, okay, and then sort of then uh, record myself sometimes and figure out okay what worked, what didn't, and then kind of do the trial, do that process from there, and then yeah, that's pretty much my process.
And so as somebody who's you've been doing this, you said since 2012, so it's been 13 years.
Yeah,
Um, so obviously you've been doing something right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting booked still.
yeah.
What what would you recommend to like younger comedians? Like how many times should they try a joke out before they realize, well, maybe it's not working? Like it bombed the first time. Obviously, you're not just gonna do it once. You're not gonna hit it and quit it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like
yeah.
what's your recommendation? Like what's your advice on trying out new jokes?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like just if a joke doesn't land, it doesn't mean it's not gonna land like everywhere, but also like just maybe, and but also you can always tinker it to make it land more frequently, and like if you like even if you like I feel like if you I think if you tinker if you definitely always record yourself because then you can work out a way to you can ascertain like, okay, what has sort of what has legs, what doesn't. Okay, all right, I'll I'll work on it from this angle. I'll work out from this angle, and then just kind of do trial and error. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have like certain jokes that just can't. You know, there's certain jokes that you're gonna have like in my head. This is funny, and I can never get this to work. And you have to just sacrifice it. You're like, oh, fine.
Right.
I'll come back to this later because I know this is gonna be. I know this is funny. I just can't make it that to the fun. I can't make people see the funny in it at the moment, but I'll come back to it. So you're gonna have those bits. But yeah, I would just say to maybe just record and brainstorm. Don't if a joke doesn't land, don't keep and you've done it a few times. Don't keep telling it the same way. Record yourself and keep working at it. And yeah, like not on the off occasion, there's just there are obviously going to be times where it's like you are going to have to like cut your losses, but like most of the time the if you get a couple of laughs within that joke, and it doesn't like it just doesn't fully land, then there is potential there. So there's enough room to to tinker around. That's the process I like. It's like because and you get more reward when you finally kind of get the formula down and it lands. You're like,
Right.
so this is I've got it to where I want it now, and then you can move on to the other thing. So it's a whole process. But yeah, I guess my advice would be not to like not to completely abandon uh, a joke like immediately if it doesn't work, or that even first couple of times just work at it, and then yeah, I mean again, like I said, there's going to be times where you might need to throw it out or just come back to it, but like yeah, I'd just say just kind of it's quite comedy requires a lot of editing and then reworking, so you just got to
Mhm.
learn to kind of like that process.
Yeah, for sure. Um, who were some of your comedy influences?
Yeah, so, yeah, like this, because of being there's a lot of like like Australian, New Zealand ones that aren't like probably known here there, but also like worldwide ones are pretty good. But so like I mean, well, growing up, I was introduced to like Billy Connolly. I thought he was really, really great at like observational, you know, observational comedy, um, and things like that. Yeah, but like obviously, uh, yeah, I don't know if it's popular to say these days, but Louis C.K. is still, I still think he's really funny. I still think he's amazing, and I, yeah, really loved it. Robin Williams was huge. Like, it's probably a huge influence. Uh, like, getting to see him when he came to Australia, like 2011
Nice.
was quite amazing. But yeah, and like things but yeah, like even uh, like Jim Jeffries, people like that. There's a guy named the English comedian Bill Bailey. If you look him up, he's a very talented dude.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, yeah, like Jimmy Carr is really is really good. Yeah, so yeah, people, Dave Chappelle, obviously, he's a big one as well. So yeah, those are the few that definitely that come to mind. Um, yeah, and I often mention there's a Australian comedian at the moment called Luke Heggie. I know him. He gets me every time. He's great, and so yeah, I learn a lot from him. But yeah, those are kind of the ones that stick out. But there's probably tons of others I'm not mentioning. But yeah, I do. I am a very yeah. I I just like watching. I watch a lot. I watch a lot of comedy, and I try to it's one thing, good thing about comedy. You can pick up and learn things even if you've been in it for a long time. So, yeah, like I've just mentioned female comedians too, like Tig Notaro, Sarah Silverman. They're all really good as well. So, yeah, no, but those are the ones that come to mind. But there are definitely a lot of others. That's the beauty about comedy. There's a lot of great comedians.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's. Yeah. I think Mitch Hedberg was a big one for me. I love the one liners.
Yeah,
And just sort of the deadpan delivery that he had. I really enjoyed. Same with Dimitri Martin, kind of the
yeah,
same style, only a little bit sillier.
yeah.
Um,
No, I like Richie Martin a lot actually. Yeah,
because I think it's fun to just like think of like funny, one or two lines, and find a place for them in your act. I think that's a
yeah.
fun bit. I try to do that a little bit. It's like, well, I think that's a really funny thing to say, but I don't have anything to expand on it. So let me try to think of more funny things to say, and
Yeah,
then maybe we can make it a bit. So
y-
those
yeah, I do like
gone
kind
too
of
soon, Mitch Hedberg.
yeah, I do like the absurdness as well. Like like the guys who sort of produced that sketch thing I was on, which they bring out where I don't know if you've seen it where I'm like yelling at deep throating thrombosis. That was Auntie Donna who got like a Netflix thing on that they did in America. But they're very kind of weird and out there, like very avant-garde, I guess you were. But yeah, that's sort of like a thing now. Very weird humor, like your Tim Robinson is quite. I like it a lot too. Yeah, so I like all kinds of humor. That's probably another thing about comedy is like there's all kinds of humor that kind of work. Whether you like whether you like your dark material like your Anthony Jeselnik or
Yep.
something like that, or whether you like it, your more clean things like I don't know, I don't know, like Gabriel Laces or something, or like storyteller Mike Birbiglia, or
I love
just
Mike. He's my favorite. Mike Birbiglia.
yeah,
Man, he's so good.
or yeah, and you've got your weird absurdist like comedians you're opposite the Andy Kaufman and those sort of things. So there's like it's kind of like I think there's like a there's a kind of crossover with wrestling. There's all these different wrestling types of people, and there's all different types of comedy. So that's kind of
Right?
like the marriage that I like.
Yeah. So, last thing about comedy. You got anything coming up? Anything that you're getting
Uh,
ready for?
I'm not like overly. I'm like, got a couple. I've got a gig coming up at this like small theater called Pip Theaters and like in what we call like the West End. I've done it before. It's pretty cool. And just there's a couple of things in the pipeline. I'm just waiting to see if they come to fruition. In terms of like more creative ventures, my friend wrote a show that I've got a part in, but just got to make sure that just got to get the green light on it. That's a long process as to whether it's going to happen. So that that'd be exciting if it does because I've read the script and that would be I would enjoy playing the character. I would say, um, and there's definitely a couple of few things that I'm venturing out and doing sort of more like people being available for more events as for whether it's like functions, people's birthdays or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, but I make a point. I'm like, I don't do small talk. Don't you want to do small? I'll do a comedy. Yeah, yeah, you do a comedy. You pay me. Like, and then I leave. That's it. uh,
I don't
yeah,
want to know about your cats, Jim.
yeah. Like, I want to pet your cat. I'll pet your cats, but like and if you have cats or dogs, I'll hang out with them as opposed to as opposed to you. But I just like because I'm like yeah, I'm probably in between like a extrovert and introvert. I'm like in between, it's like depending on
Hmm.
I guess depending on what mood I'm in.
Yeah, it
Like
depends on the day. Yeah,
yeah,
understand.
it's like because sometimes it's like it's good to have plans, but then sometimes I feel good when sometimes I feel good when those plans get cancelled. You're like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like the John Mulaney joke. John Mulaney, another guy. I really like.
he's really good.
But yeah, where he's like, oh, sometimes like when plans get cancelled, it's like it's like heroin. You're like, oh, yeah. So yeah. So yeah, no, I guess that's a long-winded way of saying yeah. I've got like a lot of things. I got things in the pipeline. They're just not official yet. So, but yeah, there's stuff going on.
Nice. All right. Well, I like to end the show with just some random questions. Some of them are maybe a little bit more of a thinker than others. Some are just really easy and you can think of the answer right away, such as um, I mentioned that we're both kind of movie lovers. What's your favorite movie?
Yeah, I would see. I'd have like one like off the top of my dome, and I don't. One I go back to that was my favorite. So I will just, I'll decide it here because it probably is at the end of the day. Is the Matrix.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I love the Matrix. I think it's just a it blew me away when it first came out, and I think it still holds up. I think it's just an amazing piece of filmmaking. I think Wachowskis did a great job, and I'm always gonna have a soft spot for them, even if they make dud films like Jupiter Ascending. So I yeah. So I guess the Matrix, but I always another one I always cite that's kind of neck and neck is there's a comedy with Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence with Nothing to Lose. I maintain that movie's hilarious, and I've watched that so many times. It's a random, it's a such a random favorite movie, but like I don't know, it just it speaks to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We've already responded on Wheel of Movies, and it was like I didn't even have to rewatch it. I knew, I knew, I knew every scene. I so so that's one that that sticks out. But there's definitely others. Like I need to yeah. But yeah, but I think those two kind of really that stick out. But yeah, depending on type of day, like Matrix number
Mm.
one, or I think it was number one. No, yeah, maybe not two, but it just depends. They flip flop.
Yeah. Have not seen Nothing to Lose, The Matrix. I've actually only seen it once. I've never gone back and revisited it, and I don't know why. But
Yeah,
I will rewatch The Lion King any day of the week.
but that's another one.
That's my favorite.
I think that's probably another one with why we got things in common because that's another one that's like a special place in my heart, and it's probably up there for me as well because it was my I think it's my first cinema experience. It's the first time I went to the movies.
Oh,
So
okay.
so yeah, like the moment that's when mum and dad took me to the movie. That's when I first went to the movies to watch Lion King, and yeah, and it's the first time like it was definitely the first time I kind of was old enough to kind of experience like and feel emotions from movies, and I was
Right.
like, "Oh, this is great." And then rewatching it, you're like, "No, this is great." So yeah, it's probably up there as well. That would definitely be in the top 10. I haven't sort of worked my top 10, but that would definitely be up there. It's always a favorite. I think it's my favorite
Mhm.
animated movie of all time.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw it in the theaters because I was only 4 when it came out.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, the first movie, and I can never remember which one came out earlier, but in 1995 I saw Toy Story, and then the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I was a big Power Rangers fan
yeah,
as a kid, so whichever one came out first is the first movie I remember seeing in theaters. Um,
yeah.
it, if The Lion King ever gets a re-release in theaters in a theater close to me, I would love to see it on the big screen.
I'm scared to rewatch the Power Rangers movie because I'm afraid it's bad. But when it came out, it was at the right time. It was like, oh my god, yeah,
The 95 one?
yeah,
Oh, it's still good. It's still you watch it with your 1995 glasses on.
yeah.
You don't watch it with your 2025 glasses on.
Okay, I'll watch it with '95
You watch it
because
with
yeah, like
95 glasses, and you remember it's a
uh,
product of its time, and it's still
yes,
fantastic. In fact, it's well, I don't know where. Never mind.
I
Oh,
was
that's
a
right. I upgraded it because they got a Blu-ray, so it's on this shelf instead. But oh, that I see it. It's over there. Anyway.
yeah. No, I was in heaven when that came. I was like, oh my god, yeah, and yeah, it yeah, but I didn't. Yeah, you're a kid. You don't know. You don't take a lot as much things in. But I remember loving it, and that's just why I wanted to stay. So that's why I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to, but I trust your judgment, so I might watch it now.
No, there's definitely some movies like that. Like I remember I loved The Pebble and the Penguin as a kid.
Yeah,
That's one of those movies like, oh, maybe I don't know if I would show this to my kids when I have kids. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. There's things like that. There's definitely like shows like that where it's like because I have a nephew, or it's like there's shows that I would sit through more than others.
right.
Like he likes was it something he likes this thing called is it Guppy something? I got Guppy, and I'm like, yeah, this sucks. But if he wants to watch Bluey, I'm like, yep, I'm down for
Yeah,
that.
Bluey, yeah, yeah. I've heard nothing but good things about Bluey. I would feel weird watching it because I don't have kids, but I've heard nothing but good things.
There's a movie coming out in like 2027. That movie's going to make a lot of money.
Uh, yeah, that's gonna be good. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. What is some of the best advice that you still use to this day?
Just like in life, or
Yeah, anything, comedy,
yeah,
life, whatever.
yeah, just like you know, probably just like not, because I'm a very at the end of the day, I'm kind of very like while I kind of can be kind of so, sometimes I just say what you think, say what I think, kind of go. But at the end of the day, I can be quite sensitive, but sometimes it's like you gotta sometimes every people not everyone's gonna like you, and I always wanted to be. And it's probably one of those things where it's like, you know, I feel like it's like, everybody does like comedy is sort of like a bit of a Bruce Fruit, got some but I thought it was like, but I like to be liked, entertained, but yeah, like I guess the reality is there's some people just gonna dislike you just for like no reason. You just gotta be like, hey, but you just gotta focus on people who do like you, and and then eventually you'll sort of you know, maybe learn to, and then just learn to like you for you, and then always, improve and improve upon yourself. Don't live your life for others, I guess. Um, and like it's cool to make your marketable and try to make the world a better place. But obviously, I think if you try to, um, like live your life trying to, if you kind of, I think it's you wear yourself down just trying to impress certain people that that's kind of a fruitless, kind of a very uh, difficult endeavor and a kind of fruitless endeavor. So I think it's just I'm always about like because obviously I struggle with like depression and stuff sometimes. So it's just all I'm all about like just kind of like self self care and stuff like that. So I think it's just making sure you can put out there your best self and and don't worry about the noise, which is why I'm like kind of taking a step back from I don't post as much on like social media and stuff because it's just like sometimes it's just like good to kind of live in the moment and don't sort of yeah no don't worry about that kind of thing. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day it's just like to kind of like not worry about what other people think is kind of what I'm getting at.
Mm. Yeah, that's a big one. Um, who's what's a musical artist or band that you wish you could see live, dead or alive? Any musical artist in history what's one concert you wish you could
Oh
witness?
yeah. Um, Honestly, like so many because like it's probably another thing in common that we don't talk about. Like I mean, you seem to be like a big like decent like music fan. I'm low key like I don't talk
I
about that
like
much,
it.
right? But I don't talk about that much. But I am also like into being into music. Uh, is quite I mean like Eminem, bro. Like Eminem, like he's rumored to be coming, like, doing a tour here like next year, but may not come to Brisbane. Funnily enough, like my sister might be if he goes to Melbourne or Sydney, my sister might be going, but then mum wants to go for whatever reason. So I'm like, yeah, that would be kind of interesting because she goes, she doesn't really like rap, but she's got a few people that she likes, and one of them's Eminem. I'm like, okay, fair enough, I get it. Uh, and so I guess that him would like that definitely yeah. Honestly, I almost like Lady Gaga's coming here like in December. I almost went. Like I was like, I look like I think she's a great performer. Yeah, I saw her on SNL. Like was it like like last season? I thought, man, like man, she impressed me. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'd go see that. Um, AC/DC is like another one.
Mm,
Again, they're coming here. And yeah, and I've never, my dad's gone, but I haven't, and yeah, that would be cool. And I feel like there's limited window because they're old. So yeah, but um, yeah. So I guess those ones sort of come to mind, but there's definitely probably others I'll think of later. I'm like, oh, I should have said that.
right.
But yeah, or that. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a lot of concerts that come to town. I'm like, yeah, oh shit, I'll get tickets to that, and then whatever life happens, then I forget, and then they're all gone by the time I try to get tickets. Yeah, like even like I know you've talked about in the past, like you and Henry talked about liking NF, the rapper, and
Yes.
like I think it was like a couple of years ago he came here in the town center. And I'm like, oh, sick, and then I
Great
again.
show.
So yeah, that would be cool. Um, waiting for I'm sure they'll come eventually. Like waiting for Linkin Park to come here. I'm sure they'll probably
Mm,
so
oh, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll probably be here eventually as well. So yeah, so probably those, but yeah, it's there's a long list. I'm trying to get like tickets to. Yeah, I got an eclectic like music taste, like anything from like rap or like death metal to like I'm trying to get tickets to Lewis Capaldi. So yeah,
He's got
and it's
a,
like,
he's really good.
yeah,
So,
so yeah.
and the final question that I always like to ask: if you could go back in time and tell 15-year-old Richie anything, what would you tell him?
Look, it's uh, gonna be all right, and don't post your personal messages and personal issues on Facebook because that's cringe, and don't and and a few years down the track, Facebook are going to create a memories function. So you think I'm going to have to fucking look at that and be like, oh, I don't even know this person. Why did I even? I don't even want to be reminded why I posted that. I can't be. Oh my god. Yeah, because like, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, like it's I guess harder to process uh, negative things that happen when you're a teenager or just certain emotions, and then like yeah, when back then social media was in its infant, kind of in its infancy, and then not feeling like maybe you have you know as much like social connections as you do now, or like the sort of outlets. You kind of be like, oh, well, this is the easy way because it just reaches everybody. But then you realize how bad it looks, and how like kind of you know judge people are. So it's just like, yeah, you got to take a step back from that, and yeah, like I sometimes I'll kind of sort of like post it out there if I'm like not feeling the best. But yeah, like I've definitely learned to kind of not yeah, save a lot more for you know private and actually therapy sessions that might benefit me, not just out in there in cyberspace. But yeah, it's just say it's like like yeah, life's tough. It's gonna be things are gonna be right, and like yeah, just probably be more positive to myself because
Mm.
I guess you can you can be very bit subconscious. I still am, but like it's just like it's sort of once you kind of learn to what that emotion is and you can deal with it. So it's just like basically it's going to be alright, and you're going to be able to navigate things. You're going to be able to navigate uh, life. Just you got to get through. Just got to get through things. Man. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's good. I like that. So, all right. Well, I would want to thank you, Richie, for coming on and having this chat, this conversation. You can catch Richie every Thursday on the Lonely Marks over on the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast channel and over on the Movie Hero Network with Wheel of Movies. The other Thursday before we go live on Lonely Mark, so he has a busy Thursday. But feel free to go check that channel out. Check out all the archives. Check out all the other Wheel of Movies. The one they did on the Lion King was really really good. You should check that one
Yeah,
out first, and
the
then
one I
check out
wasn't on.
every other one after that.
The other one I wasn't on because I had technical issues.
Yeah, it was still a good conversation though. Wish you could have been there, but
Yeah.
technical difficulties happen sometimes. So, but yeah, so thank you, Richie, for coming on. Um, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff that good YouTubers say. And so we will see you next time.